Hey guys, Mick here again. Today's little tip's going to be about a bit of protection on the boat. I've had the tinny in the water now 12 months, and as you can see, I've had quite a few mischiefs. I've already done the other side and I'm pretty happy with the results, but I've come up with this. It's called Gorilla Tape. It's quite cheap. A lot of people may know this as race tape or gaffer tape, but the Gorilla Tape is the better quality. It's waterproof, stronger. It's quite cheap. It's only, I think I only paid $15, and it's quite a big roll. And my plan is to just run this on both sides, and every time I have another little mischief, I'm just going to Gorilla Tape it. There you go. Anyway, I'll show you how it's done. As with any job, just get prepared. I've got a heat gun just in case I need it. Got a little squeegee just for getting out a few bubbles, and a rag, and obviously my Gorilla Tape. Anyway, let's have a crack. I'm just going to run from the bottom up. So when I run the second layer down over the top, it's nice and protected from the top. So the main thing is to try and get a nice straight line, not too many bubbles and crinkles, and just work slowly, take a few little bites, just to try and get it nice and level. It's ideal to do this on a day when it's not windy if you're doing it outside like this. Because generally when you're doing something like this, as soon as you start pulling out, particularly in Melbourne, the wind starts blowing. We're coming up to a tricky part now where the boat curves around, and all I've found is by keeping it pretty tight and even giving it a bit of a stretch, you can stretch it pretty much around any shape. You don't want the top to stick down at the start. The bottom is what we're concentrating on, so the bottom curve. This is the tricky part here. Sometimes you have to lift it on and off a few times and work it. I normally stick my tongue out on this part, but try not to do it now. So if you are one of them people, stick their tongue out when they're concentrating, now's the time to do it. Not too bad. Rightio. We're getting to quite at the pointy end, obviously. And all I do is I actually trim it a bit longer for starters. Just like that. Rightio, now all we've got to do, it's a little bit tricky and a little bit fiddly, just smooth out the sides. And I just use a rag so I get it even. And also if I get any bubbles, I just use a squeegee, this little squeegee here. That'll help to get some of the bubbles out. But generally, just a rag. Take your time and work from the bottom to the top part, working it nice and slow. You really want to concentrate just on getting the bend over and then pushing it up. I'm not going to worry about pushing right into the crease, but you can if you want. There you go. I leave the tags fairly long. You can heat it up with a heat gun and get it to shape any shape you want, obviously with a squeegee and a heat gun, and you can get any shape you want out of it. Rightio, we'll get the second layer on now. Rightio, second layer. The reason I put the second layer on, because that's where I want, this is the part you've got to get pretty good, and that overlaps the right direction. I'm just following the line again. This has just got to line up good. This is the seam side, the top. This is the top coat. It's like the last coat of a paint job. This is the part that you want to look the best. It'll cover up any little mischief you've done on half the bottom part. We're coming up to the harder part again, where we curve around the boat. And all I find is just working on shorter sections, but still trying to keep a fluid bend in the curve. And like I say, if you don't get it right, you can rip it off and do it again. It's nice and cheap, $15 a roll. I just picked this up from Spotlight. You can get it in any colour too, so it doesn't matter what colour your boat is, you can get it in quite a few colours. You can probably even do it in a contrasting colour, but there you go. that off. Same thing again, just taking your time, getting the bend, the 90-degree bend, or it's not 90 degree, it's probably 75 in that crease into the bend all the way down to the finish. Now we've got one more this way. So this is the time you do use like firm pressure, and that's coming along pretty nicely. So good firm pressure. If it's a cold day, you may want to put a bit of heat on it if you're struggling. But yeah, firm pressure on a reasonable day, and that's quite good. Got a little bubble there, little tiny mischief. We'll try a little hole, try another trick. Got a little bit of a mischief here. We'll just, little tiny hole, lets the air out. Can't even see it, look at that, perfect. So it's quite manageable, easy to work with. Rightio. I don't push it all the way to the end until I'm ready to do my trimming, because I've already made that mistake on the other side. And that's how you protect the bump strip on your gunnel, on your tinny. Just get a knife, trim them up. Most importantly, you need a sharp knife, one like that. Get the ends roughly where you want it. And all I do is try and follow the edge of the boat. And there you have it. That's how you finish it, like that. And the idea about this, you can carry this in the boat. You can touch it up anytime you want. You can put another piece if you have a major mischief and you're out and it sort of annoys you. You can just rip it off and do it again. If you are going to rip it off and it's been on there for a while, I do recommend you heat it up with the heat gun, so when you peel it off, it comes off nice and easy. You're not ripping your paint off or doing any more damage, but it's a really cheap and efficient way of protecting the bump strip on your gunnel. There you have it. Cheers.